everyone, welcome back to another episode of Iwouldcampthat. My last video made it very apparent that I needed a selfie stick, so I went out and got one of those. So I've got the camera hooked up to that, so hopefully no more smushing into my forehead again. So what I want to talk to you about today is a question that I was asking, and I've seen lots of other people ask it online, and I've even had a few of my friends ask, is when you're sleeping in your rig, how do you lock your rig so that someone can't just open up and jump in with you? And this was something that I did a lot of research. I'm not the best with tools. I'm not a handyman by any means. I'm slowly learning things at a snail's pace. So I wanted something as simple as possible that I could use for my rig. So I'm just going to show you what I use, and hopefully that'll be beneficial to you, or you can tweak it, modify it, and do what works for you. Let's jump into that. So with my rig, I've got the two latches on opposite sides for my locks. Now, what's different about mine is I gotta give props to my dad for this one. This was a fantastic idea. My dad helped me with this entire setup. So I'm gonna show you right over here. Just gotta get over my sleeping bag here. So when I first purchased this Canopy from Capit, I did ask them if there was one that could lock from the inside. They did say they used to have a model like that, but I guess they were having a lot of problems and complaints with it, so it got discontinued. So I had to get creative on my own. So when I first got this latch on the Canopy here, this part here, this upper part, didn't exist. We added that on ourselves. So all I had was this piece here. And of course, when you're unlocking, when you're flipping the latch, you can open the canopy, it goes up. So there's nothing stopping it from being pulled open. So what you can get is you can buy these pieces here, identical to this piece. And the one we had, it had this piece and another piece on it. So we just removed this piece. Now there's a little screw right here. Sorry, I hope that's visible. It's just right here. And what you can do with this screw is you can take it out, slide this new piece in, and just line that screw up there and screw them together. So that basically gives you this kind of L shape here. So regardless of where we have this, there's always a piece sticking up. So what we did next, so we did that on the other side as well too. What we did next is we got a piece of 1x1 wood, which I'm just gonna pull out here for you to see. So just this piece here, and we cut it to size. So you do your measurements from the one handle to the other handle. I know the width of my bed is about 4 feet. So it's probably about the same width there. So we cut this 1x1 piece down to just a little bit longer than what we need for the length of the handles, just in case we goofed it up. And what we did was we took a drill bit, fatter drill bit, and I just drilled a hole in here, and then I just kind of kept sewing needling it over and over again to the desired length. And then what I did was I just took it and just kind of just weaved it back and forth just to widen and hollow it out. What I wanted is I didn't want this to be too big to the point where it would just pop off if somebody tried the handles, but also not too tight that I can't get it off if I need to get out of here in the case of an emergency. So we did that on both sides. And what I'd recommend if you do this method is definitely slide it on and off your handles numerous times, just so it kind of works into that fit there and it's not too tight. It'll kind of wear down after use. So basically what we do here is when I'm ready to go to bed is I can just take this bar and slide it like that. And because I've used mine so many times now, it slides on nice and well. So there you have it. I've got a bar there and I've got a bar there. Always give your back window a push just to make sure, because sometimes if these things aren't set in place right, I've had it where I've given it a push and it'll just bypass that, like if they're up at an angle. You want to make sure that that you're snug and secure. So now I'll move on and show you what we did for the tailgate. Okay, so now we're moving on to how I secure the tailgate. The wonderful thing about this is you can actually use it to secure the tailgate when you're not in the truck as well too. So what we did was actually pretty simple. is we just added basically a gate lock to the tailgate. Now you got to be sure you don't catch your toes on this if you're climbing up. So forewarning on that. So what we did, we didn't even put any screws in this back end here. We just, basically my dad and I, we just used a drill bit, drilled 2 little holes in the front here, and then got these screws in. You got to make sure that you're definitely lining it up to where you want it to go. We also used a drill bit in here as well too. As you can see, there's a pretty good sized hole there. And once we got it big enough, we used a carbide bit, and I basically just did circular motions and just got that as big as I wanted it to be. So then after that, you just do your little stress test, and voila. And we did the same thing on the other side as well too. So this is a pretty easy thing to do. One thing I might do in the future is I might actually put something in front of the holes when I'm not wanting to use them, because I have found that sometimes when you're driving and with vibrations and stuff, the truck will bump up and down, and this thing will actually like slowly work its way in or work its way out. So might need to come up with a way to actually hold that in place when I don't want it in use. But otherwise it's been pretty good, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. I've never actually had someone that I'm aware of try to get into my rig while I've been sleeping, but I'm pretty confident that, I mean, if somebody really wants in, they're gonna get in. They're just gonna smash the window or whatever. So that's the gist of how I secure my rig when I'm sleeping in here at night. I think it's a pretty simple method, and again, huge thanks to my dad for working on that with me. That was a fun project to work on together. With the 1x1 wood, the closest I've had to a stress test was my dad standing outside trying to force the door open while I sat in here and smiled and waved. One word of caution with the tailgate thing, as I said, you can use those to lock your tailgate when you're not in the truck. One thing is sometimes these latches on the back window, they can get stuck, they can get off track, especially if someone does try to get in, or if you just hit enough bumps when you're driving. So if your tailgate's locked, that's going to make it a lot harder for you to get through a jammed back door. But on the plus side, it's going to make someone wanting to get in here that much harder. Like I said, if somebody really wants in, they'll just smash the window. But I've actually had it where I was out of town visiting a friend. I was actually back in my hometown up in northern Alberta, and while I was visiting a friend, we were just having coffee at McDonald's up there. I came out and it was apparent that someone had tried to force their way through my back window. I did not have the tailgate locked at the time, but they just tried the back window for maybe like 10 seconds, gave up and walked away. But it jammed my driver's side. Like he pulled it hard enough that my driver's side latch actually was off track. And so in order to get back in, Rita and I had to actually like force the tailgate open. But had we had the tailgate locked, we would have had to do a lot more monkeying around to get that back window open. So anyways, that's how I secure my rig. Thanks for checking that out. Let me know in the comments below, what do you do to secure your rig? What options are you exploring? Do you think you'll use this method? Can you think of better ways for this method could be utilized? Just let me know, feedback in the comments below, and there's lots of different ways that you can do this. You're only limited by your imagination and your tools and your knowledge and all that stuff. So yeah, would love to hear from you. This is Iwouldcampthat signing out.